Here's another video, a bit of an update to my last regarding this KingSong S22 Pro Unicycle. Yeah, just a recap here, you can see there's a 21 error, and if you revert back to the other video, I couldn't clear it. It's not a problem with the wheel, so I ordered a new part, and here it is here. It's going to replace it today, a new main board. Let me just switch this off. Okay, so first thing I've got to do is dismantle the units. I'll do this lively, and this is where the main brain kept, the main motor, or the only motor, main board, sorry, it's kept in the top here. So here you can see me just doing the 8 screws. Just pull this handle down, and the unit should come away like so. First thing I'm going to undo is these plugs for the power. There's one on each side. That's the first thing I'm going to disconnect. You can see me just disconnect them here. And there's one on the other side also. I think there's 66 volts. Okay, now that I've got the power unplugged, I'll just unplug the rest of the plugs. I think these are for the lights. Just unplugging them also, as you can see here. Now the motor wires underneath this red cover, just 4 screws, just undoing them here. This is where the motor connects to the main board. Just get this cover out of the way. To expose, there's a red, green and yellow wire which I'm unplugging here, and then there's a sensor, there's a wires there, and there's a little sensor wire here for the temperature sensor and what's not, and that's the model removed. And let me just show you here, it still holds a lot of power even though it's disconnected. You see, it still holds a lot of power. So I'm going to be careful handling this, because the capacitors still hold a lot of voltage even though it's not even plugged in. I've drained some of the power out of it anyway. Okay, to get to the main board, there's just 5 screws on the top here for this top cover, and that comes away like so. Just get a little close up of the board. Like I said, this board has a 21 error, but it's the board itself. So let me just pull these connections out of here. These are the battery connections and the light connections. Just pull them out of the housing here. And then these capacitors here hold a lot of volts, so you've got to be careful. So there's 12 screws which hold the board in place. I'm just undoing them there. And they're kind of tucked behind these MOSFETs. These are capacitors, sorry. So I'm just removing them here. So that's the board pretty much free. Now the speaker just plugs in. Let me just unplug that for you. Just unplugs here. And the speaker just sits on the top. It's actually bolted on. It just sticks to the top. And then let me just undo the power switch connector here. And the board should be free to remove. Let's get this knife in just to pry it up, because the only way it plugs into this board is through the light. Sorry, it plugs into the light. Let me just show you here. There's a connection right here for the light, and that's the only thing that's holding it on. Once you remove the screws, and you see on the underside there, see all the MOSFETs and the bolts. So there's 6 MOSFETs here and 6 MOSFETs here, and then there's 3 at the back, and they all need cooling. They're cooling off the actual main assembly, and there's the 6 screws here and the other 6 screws at the top, which I've got to remove and fit to the new board. Okay, that's the main housing there, what the board fits onto. Let me just show you close up here. The white section here, get a bit of a close up. You probably read the writing on it anyway. That's the actual light unit, and that's what the board plugs into. The 6 pins. Put that to one side, and let's get the new main board out. And the first thing I'm going to do is compare the two. Okay, so let me show you here. That's the new board. Looks exactly the same as the old one. You can see the MOSFETs on the back. And this pin here for the light, you can see it's bent, so you can see me just straightening it out. This is how it came. I'm just using this knife just to straighten out the pins so I can plug it back in. You see there, nice and straight now. Or straight enough. And let me just show you here. This is the old board, and to show you the model number. It's version 2.3, 23rd of September. And this is the new board. It's version 3.0, and it's the 9th of October. Dated. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is just I'm going to check that the pins are straight and they plug into the light. I'm just going to temporarily plug them in. Make sure the board sits on okay. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to plug the power switch connector in. If I can find that. That's the power switch connector, the white and black plug. Just plug it into this PCB here. That's for the power switch to turn it on. I'll just plug that in. Okay, now that that's in, what I'm going to do is lift the board back off, because I've got to apply some thermal compound to these MOSFETs. You can see I've got the thermal compound here, compound grease, and I'm just going to apply it to the back of these MOSFETs here as they cool against the housing panel. And there's 3 at the back, but they just use these sticky pads, thermal compound pads. See me stick one on there, and you can see the other one stuck on the housing already. So it's just a matter of lining up the light connection, like I said before. Let me give you a close-up of that. Just going to make sure that's plugged in and the pins are nice and straight. That's the best angle I can give you. Okay, so that's in. So now it's just a case of the screws. I've removed them from the old one, and there's 12 screws for the MOSFETs, and it holds the board down. You can see me just put them in, and I'll put them in a bit lively because there's 12 of them. I'll just speed this section up. Okay, pretty happy with that. So now just going to put the speaker back onto this new board. Just plugs in here. Just tuck these wires around the side here, and the speaker just sits here, it's got on the DC base. Let me just put this trim back on, which I removed, around the LED, and the speaker pretty much just sits there. Let me just tuck these wires in, tuck them back in into the housing. Okay. Let me just get some cable ties back around these cables so they don't get in the way of the cover. Just snap the ends off. Now it's just a matter of fitting the cover back over with the 5 screws. I'll do that lively. Like I said, there's just 5 screws on the top here. Okay, so that's pretty much ready to be mounted back onto the unicycle. Just pull these wires out so I can connect the connectors back up, as you can see there. Okay, so it's just a matter of, as you can see, I've labelled the blue, green and yellow for the motor, and I'm just plugging them in now, as you can see there. And then you got this white plug for the sensors. Let's plug that in also. Okay, that's all plugged in. So now it's just a matter of fitting the red cover back over. Let me just get a close up there. Everything's all plugged in. So there's just a red cover, which you can see here. Let me just pop that back over and tighten up all the screws. And then I'm just going to add some of this silicone sealant just to stop the weather from getting in, stop any water from getting in. Just get it around the edges there, and then I'm just going to make it look a bit tidier with my finger. Just tidy it up like so. Okay, so all I've got to do now is connect the connections back up. I'm going to connect the lights connections back up first, all the other connections, and then I'm going to connect the battery up. When you connect the battery up, it will arc. You can see me just connecting up the light connections. It's the best angle I can get, I'm afraid. Okay, so now that they're all connected, it's just a matter of connecting up the battery. Like I said, it will arc when you probably just heard that click together. The one side will arc, and then it's just a matter of tucking all these wires down and just making sure there's like a seal. Make sure that's in place. A little bit fiddly this bit. Just going to tuck all the wires down into the housing and make sure I don't snag any. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put a bit of thermal compound around here, around this bar, which helps to cool the main board. Here's the thermal compound there, and just bolt the whole thing together lively. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just going to take it outside to give it a test. Obviously, I'm not going to get on it myself. It's not mine. No intention of ending up in A&E. So let me just pop it outside and give it a test. See if it comes on within the areas. And just switch it on. And that 32 error regards the bracket there, which I've just closed. As you can see, now the error's gone. The 21 error has gone because it was a faulty board.
Yeah.
Let me just show you here.
What? Demo.
As you can see, it switches on. You get the 22 as it's booting up and no errors. Only thing you're going to get now is the speed. Okay, that pretty much concludes. Seems to be working fine, apparently. Thanks for watching once again, and please subscribe.